Welcome to the Advanced Tutorial Training, Commander. Advanced training will give you the upper hand on the battlefield.
Hello everyone, and welcome back to the
we're going to
advanced
cover how to
tutorial in
increase
Halo
your
Wars
base's
2.
tech level. Higher base tech levels unlock new building slots and the production of more advanced
This video
units
series
and
is for
unit
somebody who
upgrades.
has no understanding of how
Upgrade
this
your
game
fire base
works.
to a combat station now.
To do that, you hit A on your base, hit up, and then hit A again to spend the 400 power required to do that. Then, you simply wait the time required for it to upgrade, and it will be upgraded. You do not need to watch that process.
Upgrading your base has unlocked some unit upgrades. Upgrading units boosts their combat effectiveness. Let's upgrade your Marines with a grenade throw special ability. Good. Your upgrade will be ready in a few seconds. Your Marines have now been upgraded with a special ability to throw grenades. Use your Marines' grenades to quickly clear out those enemies.
Eyes on me, Marines!
Abilities recharge after a short time of being used, as indicated by that wheel.
Units' special abilities can vary, but they always improve your unit's effectiveness in battle. Special abilities take a while to recharge before they can be used again, so timing is important. Use them wisely. Now, let's move on to advanced unit selection techniques. Here come some reinforcements now. Now, select all your units from across the battlefield.
This is one key you'll get used to very much, double tapping the right bumper on your controller. That will select all your units, and then you can hit X in one spot. You'll find that's an extremely helpful command that gets used quite a bit, as well as local units.
Good. Your selected units are always shown grouped by the type at the bottom of the screen.
Troops.
Cycle through your selected unit types now.
Now, this is an important thing to learn as well. Cycling through your units. You tap the right trigger.
Notice how the selection around
do
each
that.
unit changes as you cycle through. Cycling is a good way to quickly select individual types of units from a larger group.
And then you can use their
Now let's
abilities from
review
within
other
there.
ways to quickly select units of the same type.
As covered in the previous episode, look up and above, you can double tap A on a type of unit to select all of those type of units. So for example, I have three Hellbringers. If I double tap A on them, I will select only them.
Each unit type has its own strengths and weaknesses. Knowing how to use those strengths and exploit those weaknesses is the key to victory.
Well said, Drill Sergeant, well said.
Your D-pad can be used to move quickly around the battlefield. Press left on the D-pad to jump to your base. If you have multiple bases, multiple presses to the left on your D-pad will cycle through all your bases.
This is also something you'll use heavily throughout your gameplay and time in Halo Wars 2. Left on the D-pad to cycle through your
Next,
bases.
press down on the D-pad to jump to your units. If you
It
have
is a
multiple
very
units
helpful
across
thing to
the
do.
map, repeatedly pressing down will jump between clusters of units.
Marines ready to serve.
So, to show you
We're
an
up,
example,
Leathernecks.
I
Shield
separate
up and
these
ready
troops.
to go. Set to burn and blaze. Right away, sir.
and
Moving
press
out.
down on the D-pad to jump to my nearest groups.
Marines ready for
I can just keep
Hold
pressing
up
it to
on
jump
the
to
D-pad
groups.
to set a rally point. This is where new units move to when they are built from your bases.
off, Marines.
This is a global rally point, so
Rally
everything
point
built
set.
will go here.
You have a battlefield alert. Press right on the D-pad to jump to the alert and take out the enemy.
You will find yourself not using the alert very much because it doesn't seem to be very effective.
Control groups are another way of managing large numbers of troops, and effective unit control is essential to winning battles.
Called
Now
micromanaging.
let's assign some units to a control group using what you've already learned. Select all local units.
I do this in every game I play. I
Now
primarily
assign
do
those
this with
units to a
my
control
buildings and my heroes.
Copy that. On the way.
Excellent. Now you can use the D-pad to quickly select those units assigned to that control group. Let's try that now. Now use the D-pad to select the units assigned to that control group again.
And once you've made that control group, you simply hold down the right trigger and press the D-pad in the direction.
have one control group assigned to each of the directions on the D-pad. Now move all your units to the next waypoint marker.
Is moving to position.
You can also assign buildings to your waypoint markers, but that'll be covered in a later video.
Marines ready to serve. We're moving out, squad.
There are enemies above you on the high ground. Units on higher ground will have an offensive advantage, so get up there and deal with them quickly.
Also, different units move at different speeds.
Look alive, Marines.
Hellbringers run faster than Marines. So
Let's
if I
get
send
going,
them
boys.
first and then my
Got
Marines
ours.
after,
Let's go.
you'll see that my Hellbringers are starting to outpace slowly my Marines.
You're under attack from the enemies above. Move your
As they
units up there
said,
to take
high
them out.
ground,
Tango
just like
spotted.
Obi-Wan said,
Lock
high
and
ground
load,
makes all the
Marines.
difference. I can't shoot at the high ground. I can't beat it.
Child's play.
I can storm it,
Stand
and also use grenades too. Help clear out the enemies faster.
Now that you're on higher ground, you have good visibility over the ground below.
However, not
Units
all
on
units
higher
will be able to
ground have
shoot
extended
over.
sight and firing ranges. Engaging an enemy from higher ground can let you shoot them before they can shoot you back.
This is something that's very important. While it may be questionable about how a flamethrower can go through the ground and go that far, it matters not, just to know their range is extended and they can shoot through it.
Keep moving to the next objective marker.
Yes, sir.
You've reached a bridge. Move a unit to the control panel to activate the bridge.
There are one or two maps that actually use this feature. It's mostly used in the campaign, but there'll be little items and boxes like this that you can interact with. You can tell they're interactable because your cursor changes from the standard cursor to this one here, and the pad itself is glowing. Simply just hit A up on it, and then go up, select its action, and then A again. In this case, we're turning on the light bridge, or opening this bridge.
Cross the bridge to reach the next objective marker.
Marines.
Isn't that cool how much other stuff is going on in the background? Like, that's a condor. I think it's so fun and strong to play with.
Look alive,
Multiplayer.
Marines.
You'll probably see that in a future video as well.
Careful, Commander. We've detected enemy air units nearby. Every type of unit has a counter unit. Marines are an effective counter to air units, so I'm sending in Marine reinforcements now. Over. Use your Marines to destroy those air units, Commander.
Pick your targets.
Marines cannot use grenades against the air. This doesn't work. As you can see, they just threw it at the ground instead. Infantry is supposed to counter air. Air counters vehicles, and vehicles
Good work,
counter
Commander, but we're
Marines
not done yet.
and infantry.
The enemy is planning a counterattack with Scorpion tanks, which will easily destroy your Marines. Vehicles are vulnerable to air units, so I'm sending you some Hornets to counter the enemy tanks.
As you can see, they are way more effective. If we had our Marines here, we would back them up in the fight. Notice how they can't shoot their main cannon at that high in the air, so all they're left with is their minigun. And they're not doing much damage at all. I'm just gonna fast forward this a little bit.
And the Hornet claims another kill.
Excellent. But now the enemy is sending in Marines to counter your air units. Your air units won't last long against their Marines, so friendly Scorpion tanks are inbound to help deal with them. Units delivered and deployed. Over. Another day, another war. On my way. Getting pelted by ground troops, over.
Notice, your units are able to move and shoot. My tanks have more range than their infantry, so I'm able to shoot them at a further range and follow them around the map. You'll see more advanced gameplay about that in later videos as well. For this basic tutorial on how to get started, just know tanks will generally beat general infantry.
That's the last of the enemy units, Commander. Well done. Choosing the right unit to counter enemy units is key to your success on the battlefield. The enemy base has been located. Use the tactics we've covered to destroy all enemy forces.
So we're gonna use what we've learned here. We're gonna double select all of our Marines by double hitting A, and we're gonna assign them to the bottom D-pad. We're gonna do the same thing for the air and the tanks. So for the air, we're gonna double click them, hold right trigger, and then I'm gonna hit right on the D-pad to assign them. And my tanks, I will double click on them, select them, hold right trigger, and left on D-pad. Now, I'm gonna do all units with right bumper and go in for the attack. And I'm gonna hold right trigger, hit left to select scorpions, have them attack that. Right trigger, right, to attack those. And right trigger down to attack those. I also have grenades I can use, so I'm gonna have those be thrown as well.
They never learn, do they?
And we successfully countered the enemies without even losing a single unit. If we lose one, we can hit left on our D-pad to come back to our base to build more units. In this tutorial, we're limited to what we can build. Now I'm gonna hit right trigger and left twice on my left D-pad to jump to my unit I selected there.
We've reduced an enemy structure to rubble.
And in that time, they destroyed the enemy base.
Congratulations, Commander. You have completed advanced training. Good luck out there.
That concludes it for this episode. Next episode, we'll jump into a game with the AI, and we'll do some slightly more advanced tactics on how to better play the game. Hope to see you there, everyone. Bye.